Welcome to the Pen Leader Podcast, where strategic leaders get straight to the topics, strengthening our awareness and sharpening our minds. The Pen Leader Podcast is produced by Roar, a production division of Mays & Associates Ltd. Find out more at www.maysassociatesltd.com. Now here is your award-winning host, Dr. Shanda Gore.
And welcome to the Pen Leader Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about being mindful and present. And I'm going to give some statistics before I introduce our guest. But most practitioners meditate daily. When I talk about most, we're talking about a 56% of individuals who are in a leadership mindset that do this. And they average about 10 to 20 minutes is the most common session. Morning practice dominates. And I think to myself of apps that I've used in the past where they talk about coming together and being mindful and what that means and setting daily reminders. This leads us to really talking to an expert who understands mindfulness and how you can really leverage it to be better at whatever you're doing. So I am so glad to have with me Miss Isabella Weik, who is the president and CEO of the Toledo Mindfulness Institute, but it is also a growing wellness company centered around yoga, mindfulness, and on-site corporate and school wellness programs. And she is an entrepreneur, a content creator. She's been named one of Toledo City Paper's 2025 Visionary Leaders and recognized by the Sylvania Chamber of Commerce and the state of Ohio for her efforts in economic development. And she's recognized for her role in shaping Toledo's, quote, next chapter, which I'm really excited about that. She's a musician, a songwriter. She's a poet, blending wellness, creativity, and community development to help people connect with themselves, the city, and guided by her motto, slow, steady, intentional, and grateful. And so without further ado, welcome, Isabella.
Dr. Gore, I'm so excited to be here. I'm with an award-winning interviewer. Oh my gosh. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, I appreciate you taking the time away from the Institute to come and do the show. I think it's really important that you are being intentional and you're strategizing, thinking about how you build that mindfulness into the day. And I know I have a number of leaders who are listening who are running major corporations, organizations, or they're doing the daily grind. Can you share what inspired you to really found the Toledo Mindfulness Institute? What motivated you to do that?
So I grew up in a very unique background. I grew up with both of my parents are the founders of the Buddhist Temple of Toledo. So I actually grew up going to meditation retreats, going to practice meditation daily. That was what I got modeled to me. So my parents, right, if they're having a situation or a stressor or something, I firsthand got to see them utilize the practices of meditation and mindfulness to regulate themselves. Now, I'm not like sitting there as like a child being like, oh, my parents are regulating themselves, but being able to absorb that at that really important age of 0 to 7 kind of vibes, that was really heavily informs who I am today. So my parents founded Toledo Mindfulness Institute actually about a decade ago. But then something really interesting happened where I said, it's going good. Like we had a client or two or something, and my parents were just busy doing other really important things. And so I was like, listen, there's this great shell here. There's a great opportunity here. And at the time I just graduated from the University of Toledo, and I said, let's see what happens if I throw everything I have into this. Mm-hmm. Like, what would happen if I just, I take the island, you burn the boats, right? I was like, what would happen if? And it has been nothing but extraordinary since then. So it's really what's inspired me to keep doing this is because I firsthand have experienced the importance of mindfulness. And I want to be clear too, mindfulness is a very secular thing. Anybody can practice that. My well that I get to pull from is a very old well, an ancient well. It's not like I just read a book and I was like, yeah, mindfulness is cool. This is a lived thing for me. And it's my greatest privilege of my life to be able to be healthy, be well, and be able to support people through mindfulness practice.
So what would you tell a leader who is saying, I'm trying to build this into my calendar. I struggle because of the fact that there's other things pulling my attention. How do you start the mindfulness journey? And then we'll talk about just what comes from it once you get into routine. But how do you start?
We are really great as leaders with prioritizing what we feel is important. And unfortunately, any human being will have this experience. I just happen to have mine very early on where sometimes if you just keep going, you eventually will run into a wall and something will give. Most of the time, that's health. So what I would advise people to do is I hope to goodness that you don't have to run into that wall. You don't have to be in that hospital to understand, or that whatever that situation is, that life-altering moment where it's like, oh man, I really actually do have to take care of myself here. So my hope is that somebody listening to this will be like, okay, all right, let's embody this vitality, this courage, this aliveness, this hunger for life now, right? So mindfulness practice is about connecting with yourself. It is of the utmost importance to do that. That's what we're here to do. We're here to be a gift, to be a blessing to people, to take our lessons and make something good of it. Please, the world is really hurting. Mm-hmm. So it's a necessary thing to take care of yourself. And I know you probably don't need me to tell you that, but maybe this is the time that it sticks. So here I am to tell you it. Take care of yourself.
Well, I do know there are individuals who start off good with either they're going into goals, which, sometimes depending on what time of the year, they might create a resolution. But there's also anytime you can start this at any point. Where do you start? Are you starting to sit and you just listen for 5 minutes to silence? Are you listening to someone telling you to walk you through? What do you suggest just to get started?
A great place to start is with the goal of let's actually feel what's really happening here in my body. That's a great place to start. Most people, especially us, leader people, we are go, go, go. We can do a lot with our mind, right? Sometimes a lot of people, I feel, a lot of leaders use this image of like our brain is really pushing everything. Our body's just kind of flailing behind going, oh my gosh, okay, right? And then hence that wall that I was talking about earlier happens. But a really great place to start is to build a relationship with what is actually true in my body right now. And that starts I'll give you a great example. It can happen really quick where it's like, how am I holding my body right now as I'm sitting? Right in this moment, this instant, where am I holding tension in my body that I don't need to be holding? For me right now, I'll tell you, it's my jaw. Actually, I can feel it in my jaw right now. So what that looks like is I'm sitting here, I'm saying, okay, what's true? I'm holding tension in my jaw. And it's actually, what's interesting, and this applies to other things, it's not about like managing the jaw. It's like, all right, the jaw is tight. It's not my job to like manage the jaw and force it to relax. But simply by placing your awareness on your jaw will help it relax. Simply by placing your awareness on your shoulders helps them drop. It's not about doing more things, like there are apps and there are lots of different ways to plug into mindfulness, but the core thing, and I don't care if I'm talking with the Toledo Police Department, if I'm talking with addiction recovery, any little kiddos, I work with little kids too. The Institute goes into school systems. Like we're working with a lot of different populations, but it all starts with what is your relationship to the feedback that you're getting from your body? Mm-hmm. Are you listening? Mm-hmm. And that's where I would highly encourage everyone to start.
I'm thinking to myself is like, again, you're talking about being at peace, just sitting and listening, which again, not having any kind of outside noise coming in to help train that. Now I'm going to say this. I think of individuals that maybe it's really hard for them to sit and be quiet and present because there's this level of like being mindful and then present with where you are. So what would you suggest for those that are fighting perhaps a lot of attention coming in? One of the things that I'll say is that phones are a very big distraction. And there's an addiction that goes with that too. What would you suggest to those that their phone is their life and then the focus is really hard for them to just sit and be quiet for a moment?
Yeah, I mean, especially the population listening to this, like getting things done feels good. Like answering those emails, getting that stuff done, like making moves, it feels good, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the stimuli of the email and all of these things. The problem is when we get so lodged in that, we don't know how to calm our nervous system down. That's the problem. That's where the chronic illnesses come from, like that, or, one of the ways. Like it's just like a constant needing stimuli, constant. And so, to your point with the phones, and especially if you're somebody you got a large team under you, like people's projects rely on you to say yes or no. Having time where you are not the yes or no person, having time where you are not the emailer, you are not, fill in the title, is crucial. There's a balance in being able to drop all of that and just kind of float in your own sovereignty, your own, like, just you being a human being is enough. That helps us to make better emails, actually.
Like I was going to say, the best written emails are those that are calmly written without an emotional tie to them. Those are the most effective emails as well.
Yes. And so, if someone's listening to this and they're going, okay, yeah, but I've got like 9 meetings back to back and like I'm barely sleeping and all of these things. I mean, again, I pray that you don't have to run into that wall. Mindfulness is a lot of preventative work, actually. I can really see it now. It's like when we're working with those little kiddos and they can learn how to like check in with their breathing, that preventative work helps immensely down the road.
Well, I think about children who can't handle situations which don't have the best outcomes, losing, not always winning, handling loss. I think that, again, we talk about pivoting. I know in my book, we talk about how you manage the pivot makes a difference in how you manage on the other side of whatever that challenge is. And sometimes the challenge comes out of nowhere, but how you handle the pivot. It sounds to me like what you're saying is that mindfulness, being present, understanding really what's happening is part of handling the pivot, whatever that is.
Yeah. One of the things that my dad has really taught me is like, use all the ingredients of your life. Use the pivot, use the moment where you hit the wall, use everything you've got, everything in order to make this place better than we found it.
I'll tell you, that is, if we can just keep that in the forefront of our minds, especially when we go into our workplaces, as well as when we interact with our clients and customers. How am I helping this individual go to the next level, be better than whatever their better is defined? And I'll say that because sometimes we get caught up in the golden rule, but I always push the platinum rule, which is treat people as they want to be treated and not necessarily what I think that they want. And so people they'll tell you what they want, but are you listening and being mindful of allowing their voice to come through as you should be listening and allowing your own voice to come through?
Gosh, that's so good. I needed that, Dr. Gore. Thank you. I needed that. Thank you.
Thank you. No. If you're talking to someone who says, wait a minute, we're talking about with mindfulness, I've never meditated, you're starting this practice. Should they be practicing every day? Should they, when you said just sitting and being, present and listening to their bodies, how long would you suggest? Should they be timing it with their phones? Like, what can they be doing starting tomorrow?
Right. It's like, well, okay, here's the concept. What does the form look like? Right. Like what's the structure look like? So I recommend, like with any new habit, it's not about like, all right, I'm going to be a master meditator. I'm going to go for 20 minutes a day. I love that statistic in the beginning, and that's really cool. Sometimes I don't even do that, y'all. Like, I live and breathe this stuff. Literally, I've had back-to-back meetings today about this thing. I love it, right? And I definitely didn't get my 20 minutes in today. I was just being so real, right?
I love the transparency. That's awesome.
It's just facts, dude. I have facts. It's got to be real, So that's actually the place I'd start with. The first thing I said is getting familiar with what's real and what's true in your body. That's reflected in how you practice. So you could set your timer for a minute on your phone and silence, letting your body naturally start to loosen some tension that you're holding. So that's one practice. Then another one that's more like hardcore, like hardcore mindfulness, but like, like traditional mindfulness practice of counting the breath. So as you've got the minute timer, as you inhale in your mind, you sound the number 1, exhale 2. Nice. Inhale 3, exhale 4. And you do that until you get to 10, and then something really crazy happens. You go back to 1. Like, that's just what you do until the timer runs out.
I actually did a demonstration right here. So just for the record, for those who are listening to the show, I'm actually tried to demonstrate right there.
I felt it. I needed that.
Feel it?
Thank you. I slowed down my counting because I was like, oh, Dr. Gore's doing it. All right, we're doing it. Live time, baby. We're doing it.
That's right. That's right. So this is encouraging for those that especially for those that listen to the show and replay this. Keep in mind that this practice, again, it becomes a habit if you continue to do it. So you're saying, 1 minute here, it could get elongated to 5 minutes. It could get longer. And I'll be honest, I think the longest I've ever had has been 45 minutes.
Ooh. That's a pro level girl. Wow, look at you.
Now, I could not sustain it because life happens.
Yes.
But I did notice it was a whole other me on the other side of that 45 minutes. But that is the longest. I think when you're talking about when you're taking baby steps, getting 5 minutes seems hard when you fall out of practice.
Yeah, most people, it's like the worst thing ever to ask somebody to be quiet with themselves for like any amount of time ever. It's like, you're asking me to do what? So, the first thing too is I said a lot of firsts. The other thing, I can go on and on about all this stuff. I'm very passionate about it. Another thing you should keep in mind is that it should be something that feels good to you. I don't know how else to say it. Like, it needs to be something that you are enjoying, because to be really big about it, your life is meant to be enjoyed. Like, this mindfulness practice, anything that you're doing, like, I hope that you're using whatever it is. It could be mindfulness. Maybe this inspires you, like, oh, maybe like I should like take my mindfulness practice to the gym, or like go to a yoga class, or this might expand out to other areas of your life, right? Same through line applies. It's got to be something that adds life to your life, not something that's used as a way to like, oh, I didn't do my mindfulness today. I'm not,
Don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Because that's like counterproductive, isn't it?
Completely. And this is coming from a girl who, like, I'm hard on myself. I mean, I'm a young entrepreneur. I'm really working very hard, actually, to build this company and everything. And I can get incredibly hard on myself. So I'm saying this just as much to myself as I am to whatever lovely person is listening to this right now. Hey. Nice to meet you.
Love that. Love that. So now comes the fun questions. This has been fun, just talking about this, but what are you reading and what are you watching? Are you reading a bunch of mindfulness books? Talk to me about what that looks like. What do you do to relax besides mindfulness?
I love it. Well, so one of my favorite books really loops in, if you're liking this theme of mindfulness and using the ingredients of your life, you should really check out. It's called The Art of Power by Thich Nhat Hanh. And he is an incredible Buddhist monk, and he's written so many books. He's one of the main top bestsellers of mindfulness. He really helped to bring it to the West. And this through line of how do you live a life that you're utilizing your gift of being a human being. It's a gift to be here. How to use that in a way that is benefiting yourself and the entire world. And then another one that time and time again, I go back to this resource. It's The Go-Giver by Bob Berg and John David Mann. And it talks about how, again, similar things where it's like you're utilizing the gift of what you have, who you are, to help people. And how really at the top, the people that you want to be collaborating with, the leaders that you really want to be gelling with, are the people that are just, they try to outgive each other. Instead of a go-getter, you're a go-giver. All right, you want to do that? I'll give you this. You want to get? Oh, I'll give you this. And it's just, that's the type of energy that's life-giving. And that's one of those things I had to believe before I could feel it for myself. That faith piece. I had to believe that it was possible, that there are super amazing, kind business leaders and leaders in general who genuinely want to make this world better. And I just have to keep working really hard and get myself into a space where I can see opportunity and opportunity can see me. And yeah, The Go-Giver, great book.
Excellent. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on and being mindful during our interview with me, actually our demonstration as we did it. But just, sharing that and, what you're doing. And again, I'm seeing you grow and blossom. That this Mindfulness Institute has just grown more and more, and it's really helping quite a few people. And it truly is in a leadership. You yourself are on track to do some great things and doing
Thank you,
them
Dr.
now.
Gore. That means the world to me.
Yes,
You were
great.
such a rock star. I was like, oh my gosh, she wants me on her podcast. I was like, yeah. I was like tripping over myself. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you to our listeners who are out there who are sharing the show, liking it, whatever state you're in, whatever country you're in. We really appreciate your listenership. I also like to thank our sponsors. This show is sponsored by Maine Intelligence Network, and we really welcome you to come be part of a focused network of entrepreneurs, leaders, executives, and authors committed to sharpening leadership and strategy while scaling ventures with intention. This is the place where practical thinking meets high caliber connections. So check it out at Maine at www.maesassociatesltd.com. Select Maine on the homepage to learn more and sign up for how you can get connected. And we also would like to thank Mr. Brian Davis. And for all your home, auto, and life insurance needs, please contact him at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, Brian is there. So, and of course, until next time.
The Pen Leader podcast is hosted by Dr. Shanda Gore and brought to you by Mace & Associates Ltd., creating customized solutions for growth in the areas of leadership development, strategic planning, and culture building. Find out more at www.maceassociatesltd.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the Pen Leader podcast and share with others.